Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It's 6:41 a.m. and it's time to have a chat with our resident artist on set for the week as we continue our collaboration with the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us this morning in studio is Richalene Emmanuel, who is more than an artist, but we're going to get into that in our conversation. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on set. I have to say, I mean, your work is so inspiring. It brings such great light and you have such a beautiful personality as well. So it makes sense.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. All right, so before we get a bit into the pieces on set this morning, let's learn a little bit about you because you are multifaceted and you definitely have made some incredible waves when it comes to the artistic world.
Yeah. So I attended St. Joseph Convent and I left school after Form 5. I did not do Form 6. And I went into the working world with the insurance industry at the age of 18.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I worked, for about 30 years, you know. And at the same time, I always enjoyed drawing, but I didn't really do it in school because I had chosen another subject. But even though when I left, I really still pursued the drawing. But at the same time, I got involved in music. And there were just so many things happening. I was studying, working, music, and I really and truly put drawing and art on the back burner. But then fast forward to about 2004, you know, when it is you have a passion and you have a gift, that gift beckons you, it calls to you. And you know, they say your gift makes room for you. And I would be at work and I would just feel this thing just calling me, calling me, calling me. So back in about 2005 or 4 around there, I just said, I'm really going to do this properly. So when I would get my salary at the end of the month, I would make sure to put aside money and buy canvases, art, and I would just practice because I'm a self-taught artist. And I put in a lot of work. And then I would do exhibitions now and again. But then 2015, I became pregnant with my son. And because of the kind of pregnancy I had, I couldn't stay in the corporate world. And I decided to take time off and spend with my son and just pursue it full time. And so it's just hours and hours of practice, developing who you are, putting myself into my art, my emotions, everything. And then, of course, started my jewelry business, which, you know, I make earrings with polymer clay. You know, and so that's my journey.
It's an incredible journey to hear, to learn also that you went through this transition, being in corporate and really going through quite the practicality of it, of, okay, I'm going to make sure I put aside X every single month so that I can work on this, but also being able to balance everything. You mentioned you have your jewelry business.
Yes.
You also sing.
Yes.
And all these different things. How do you think they all meld together to really bring your artwork to life on the canvas itself?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, definitely. And I think that was another part of my journey because back in 2004, the band was doing a lot of gigs. And what tends to happen too when it is you are doing a lot of shows in music, you have to be on a high. You have to be always on a high to perform well. And then you need something to pull you back down to reality. And art was a great way for me to really settle me back down. And then I would just, you know, put a lot of my emotions into lots of my lyrics that I would write. I write a lot of poetry and I write a lot of music. And sometimes I funnel it into my art, you know, and so,
Do you have any particular medium that you prefer to use when it comes to creating?
Oils, I love oils. I started off with acrylics, but there is a depth to oils that no other medium I personally find would give you the depth, the definition. And if you look at a lot of my pieces, it's very thick impasto, right? And so all of these pieces were done with knife. These are knife. So it's palette knife pieces.
So the first piece that we already have on the screen, can you walk us through the details of this?
The deepest blue.
Okay.
Yes, the deepest blue. And so it's very odd. Some people, when it comes to composing a piece of art, it starts off with, an idea, what is your composition gonna be? This one, I just got up and I could not get a particular color blue out of my mind.
Right.
And it was literally ultramarine blue. and it was French ultramarine blue. And I just, sometimes a color just inspires me.
Yeah.
And that day I got up and said, you know what? I want to do a monochromatic piece, but I want to have all the blues, you know, in a harmonious fashion. But I love to paint yachts. I love to paint boats, as you would see. And so that's where the inspiration. But my forte and what I'm known for a lot too is how I break my paint. It really is. If you look at the whites on that particular piece, you would see where it would come down very slowly. But it's a you really have to work and just try and break, because you want that paint to break and skip.
Okay.
You know, because it helps with the texture.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the deepest blue.
I'm definitely seeing, I mean, the texture is something that you see it. And I think perhaps that's one of the main things that jumped out from all of these pieces that are on set. They're absolutely incredible. I can't help but turn around, even though, of course, I'm not supposed to, right? But they're absolutely amazing. Something interesting, though, you said you use knives.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I use a palette knife, which is basically, like when you're layering cement and you're building a wall and you have, you know, your trowel, it's like a mini trowel.
Yeah.
And so I would have to mix the paints to be certain consistencies as well, because I know exactly what type of mark that I want to make. If I want it loose, if I want it a little more thicker, and so that is the main tool that I use, which is my palette knife.
So let's go to this next piece. I have to admit, I think for me, this is one of my favorites that I've seen on set. This one, it is so colorful. It evokes a lot of joy, but it also evokes, I don't know, for some different things, a bit of sadness, but a bit of inspiration as well. Yeah.
Yes. That piece, these two East Indian pieces actually came about around Indian arrival.
Okay.
And I think for me, I was really focusing on what did these people go through emotionally, having to leave their homeland and then come, you know, to new shores. But what I loved about it was that I didn't really want to focus too much on that. I wanted to get the emotion in it, you know. And so with Into the Light, I wanted to paint this East Indian woman, but I wanted her to have such a journey being put into the piece that spoke so loudly that she was leaving what was left behind and pressing forward to, you know, new beginnings, a new journey, enlightenment. And when I did it, the word I kept thinking in my head was enlightenment, and that's why I chose, you know, the title Into the Light.
Let's go on to this next piece where, I mean, absolutely mind-blowing. Can I just let the cat out of the bag and let you all know that no, this is not the artsy? But I can definitely understand why one would think so.
Yeah.
Was this, you said it was also inspired, of course, by the Indian Arrival Day.
Yes.
But what's the name of this piece?
The Passage.
The Passage, okay.
Yeah. And so if you look at her face is very contemplative, right? I mean, she's also looking like she's going through some sort of emotional passage within herself, you know, where she's trying to come to terms with what am I doing? Where do I go from here? And so I wanted to convey that in her facial expression, the emotion.
Well, we can definitely see it as well. Again, an excellent use of color.
Thank you.
And just looking again at the texture. I mean, these are, you know, in some ways they also come across as interactive pieces.
Yes.
You know, that's the great thing about it.
Yes.
Now, our last piece on set for the week, I have to specify, of course. You did mention that you love to paint yachts. And we're seeing another one here as well. What is the name of this
My
piece?
tall yachts. So this piece is called Embark.
Okay.
And I had gotten up, I was driving down Chagaramas and I was watching, you know, I mean, all the yachts down there.
Yeah.
And it was around sunset, but I didn't really want to, I like to push the envelope, you know, at times. And I really loved, it was a beautiful, you know, same kind of orangey sunsets, but I loved crimson.
Yeah.
So that's why I used a bit of like some, you know, burnt siennas, crimsons, those sorts of things. And then, but of course, I wanted to use other colors to, you know, be complementary to, so all of them would just interact harmoniously together.
Absolutely gorgeous and very reminiscent. I know many of us now, you can look at that and think about somewhere perhaps you've been where you've seen something like that as well, but definitely with an additional explosion of color, which is super appreciated. I think we have just shy of 2 minutes left. So before we go into a little bit more talk, let's get some super details out. Where can we find you on social media if we want to learn more?
Right. So I have I'm on Facebook, Richalene Emmanuel Fine Art. I'm also on Instagram, so it's Richalene_Emmanuel_art, and then I'm on TikTok, Richalene Emmanuel. And all of my pieces are available for sale at the Savannah Gallery.
Okay.
That's on Long Circular Road, and my earrings or my jewelry are on sale at Artista Titi in One Woodbrook. She's the only person that, I send my earrings to, and, the Savannah Gallery.
Wonderful. Now, I'm not too much sure how much time we have left. Hopefully we have like just shy of a minute. How long does it take you to create a piece? I've been dying to ask you this.
Ooh, okay. You would think that the taller pieces actually take longer, but they actually take, a shorter time because it's longer strokes, and these smaller pieces actually take a bit more time, but it takes days. It takes days because it's layers, and then it takes a long drying time as well, because oils take literally about 12 months to cure, even though it's dry to touch. And that's great. Like after about 4 to 6 weeks, it's dry to touch, and I can varnish. But in terms of it being completely dry, no. It under the surface, it takes 12 months to cure oil paints.
Bringing a whole new dimension to even the word texture and the pieces that you have on set with us. Richalene, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to coming to work every morning and seeing these, that is for sure. And looking forward to seeing more work coming from you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Richalene Emmanuel here with us this morning on the Now Morning Show, our resident artist on set for the week. You would have heard the social media handles. Go and check her out and make sure that you stay tuned, because coming up after this, it's time for the TTPS on Now.